Abdulaziz. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, class? So today we're going to talk about coherence. What is coherence? How do you make a coherence in writing, not in speaking? How do you make a writing coherence? Why is it coherence, and when is it uncoherent? So the other day I watched a movie called The Free State of Jones. It was talking about the Civil War, and then from there the Civil War branched out into dealing with racism. And if I may, I'm going to have to use the N-word, the word nigger. So during the war started by the rich, but the poor were fighting it. So both the dark-skinned African Americans and the white people, the poor, they were unopposed. They didn't agree with fighting this war because they didn't see the purpose. You see, they were both stronger than the rich people, but they had the same idea, but they didn't know this. It was unrelated. It was uncreated. It wasn't created. So coherence would be there when they relate the idea. When they became incoherence, it's when the leader of he was a nurse and he ran outside the war, and he thought in between himself that this war is happening for no reason. It's happening over cotton. Literally, millions have died over cotton. So what happened is he met one of the African American leaders, and that's when they talked, and that's when the word niggers came. And by the way, if you read history, the word niggers wasn't only for African Americans, it was used for the poor. The white people referred to the poor white people, referred to themselves and to the blacks as niggers, as slaves. So when the ideas came together, it became understood by the rich, and that's how they overcame racism. So in this case, I was using symbols. So in the whole war, the blacks and the whites, in this case, they're the passage, or they're the passage. The fact that they didn't want to fight the war, that in this case, this is the symbol with the ideas themselves. So the movie was called The Free State of Jones. It was because the leader, Jones, he took over all of South Mississippi. He moved to the north. He failed to occupy the north because there was a new president that supported the KKK. That's how the KKK movement started. And actually, that is when the black man could actually vote. And it was a really nice era. It was only because, in this case, so when the leader would be asked, why did you go to South Mississippi? There were only niggers down there. He said there are no such thing. Not because he brought the black people up, not because he wanted to make black people stronger. You see, black people wanted to be stronger. But you see, the good white people, or black people, the good humans, they wanted humans to be treated as one. So in this case, that's the relationship. See, when they both understood that they both initially wanted the same thing, when the white people wanted humans to be treated as one, they wanted to remove the rich ones and bring back the black ones and live as one species. And the black people, they saw that they would become stronger and they could be, they won't be slaves anymore. So that was the relationship. That was coherence. So the relationship. So when we have a relationship between ideas after the war, that's when the passage is in coherence. When we don't have, or when the passages separate, you see, initially they want the same thing. They both, black people, they wanted to become stronger, but the good humans in general, they wanted humans to be treated as one. You can tell that it's between the same passage. You can tell they initially have the same idea, but it wasn't related properly. It wasn't related properly, so the passage was incoherent. It was incoherent. So how can we make the passage incoherent? Okay, so up to here, does everybody understand everything? Yeah. Okay, so is it incoherent or uncoherent? It's okay. So, when the passages are coherent, the ideas are related. Obviously, whether it's between sentences, between paragraphs, and this can be achieved by using transition words. Or signposts, which are initially the same. Obviously, order between time, chronological order. So, I don't know how to spell it. Chronological.
Just draw a box. Chronological.
And the next one actually makes the passage coherent, but it's not advised. I don't advise you to use it, which is repetition. Okay, so these four are all in terms of words or grammar. These four are all they're all related to grammar. But the first one is the most important. See, you can have transition words, you can have the chronological order, you can have repetition, but you might be way off. So the ideas have to be related. You have to be initially speaking about the same thing. Even if, for example, you go off the story, you have to, maybe just in between brackets, or maybe like as you go on, even though if you branch out, the reader has to know that you came back to the story. You can't just talk about something and go to something else without having that link in between. Maybe you went, as the same, maybe you went back in time, you jumped in time. It has to be related. Remember the assignment we did last week or 2 weeks ago, when an accident, a tragedy would happen, and we would jump in time. You can see, if the reader read it, you can see that you're talking about the same place, the same building, except that they're in the post-tragedy and before tragedy. So it was coherent. When it's incoherent, ideas are obviously not related. Ideas are not related. Ideas are not related, obviously. So you'd be talking about, let's say, for example, a war, and you immediately jump into another war, but a different time, See, when you jump between wars and wars, the ideas might be related, but also they might not be related. It might be in another different time. The ideas might also be related. You might also want to relate, the causes of the war. But if you don't use if you misuse the transition word, or you have a mix-up in time, or you don't clear the fact that you're linking between the causes of a war or two similar things, the reader himself, he won't know. When it's incoherent, when you see here the ideas are related, this bullet point was really important. Okay, so when ideas are not related, it's incoherent, but these depend on this. You see, all these four initially dependent on the first bullet point, so if the ideas are related, even if you use these, obviously it will be a really bad passage.